Now in this next video, what we're going to do is take it another step to a little bit more higher level and some deeper concepts now that we've looked at the basics of what an e-commerce funnel is, the basic psychology of how an e-commerce funnel works, and what the different pieces are of that funnel and what you should be focusing on. Now I want to look at how you maximize conversions across your funnel. Okay, and this is a really in-depth topic. So for the purposes of Ecom Empires Academy and this free course that you're getting, right, I'm just going to cover what I feel like are some of the most important parts, some of the highlights that you need, again, to set you up for success in the right areas. That way then, you can start testing on your own, but at least you can be working from a good foundation. All right, here's a basic map just to give you an idea of what we're talking about when we're saying maximizing conversions. There's really two main systems. So there's two main ideas. Let me start here. There's two main ideas when it comes to maximizing conversions. There's on-site and there's off-site. Okay, and that's what you can see here. This is called on-site. So when it comes to on-site, there are different steps you can take in maximizing conversions on your product page, on your cart page, like the things that we just talked about, and we'll look at a little bit more in this video as well, and some of the later stuff. But then there's off-site maximizing conversions, right? And that's what this is going to be here, right? Because you want to do everything you can when somebody's on site, this traffic, whether it's coming from Facebook or Google or Instagram or Pinterest, you want to make sure you're doing everything you can to get your traffic to come through and take the path of least resistance to make a purchase. Okay, that's the whole goal of your funnel, to create the path of least resistance for somebody to make a purchase. But at the same time, that's just not going to happen, right? It's just not realistic. A lot of people are going to leave your site, even if you have a very high converting funnel. A lot of people are still going to leave your site, even on the highest converting funnels I've seen, right? People that are converting maybe at 20% purchase. That's fantastic. If you're getting a 20% purchase rate on your store, that's amazing, okay? But still, that means 80% of people aren't purchasing. Right? So there's still a massive amount of room for off-site conversions, which are email systems. Okay, so are you getting their email somewhere on your site? And there's two main areas that you can do that. One is with your on-site opt-ins. Okay, so generally there's two forms. There's like people will have a newsletter in the footer, or people will have some sort of exit intent pop-up or some kind of pop-up somewhere on their site, right? And so if you get their email, you're going to put them through a welcome series, and this is all happening off-site. And the goal of that welcome series is to turn them, it's a nurturing series, right? It's meant to nurture them and get them to want to come back and actually go through the process of making a purchase, okay? And oftentimes within the welcome series, you offer them a discount, right? And so that's where, okay, email opt-in, and some of this is kind of confusing, but the basic format is here, right? If they opt in, get a welcome series, try to bring them back and push them through to make a purchase. All right. With the remarketing ad, then that idea is based on retargeting. Okay. Retargeting, remarketing, they're both basically the same term, but this is the idea that, okay, your traffic leaves, and if they opt into an email, great. If they don't opt to an email, either way, you have that pixel data. Okay. Now we'll get more into retargeting methods and this kind of stuff when we get into the later marketing lessons. But the idea is basically that you install a pixel on your website, or you install your Google Analytics tracking code on your store, and that means that even if somebody visits and leaves, you can serve them new ads because you're able to track that from the pixel. And that's a powerful thing. So that's what a marketing campaign is all about, right? You understand that this initial traffic here, that first ad they see, Most people aren't going to make that purchase and go through that path of least resistance, but then you're trying to consistently use these off-site conversion methods to bring them back and push them through the purchase sequence, right? And then this discount ladder thing is just a way that we help increase the chances of making a purchase, because we can offer people discounts, and we can offer them varying discounts based on, where they're at in the funnel to try to, really drive home that sale. Now, the other place is the abandoned cart, right? So if somebody goes actually all the way through to the cart page and enters their email, but then decides not to complete their purchase, then you can actually send them very specific emails called abandoned cart emails that are designed to bring them back. That's a different level of email than the welcome series, because at the welcome series, they may not have even gone through to the cart, right? They may have been on the home page or the product page, and they opted in for an email because they had a pop-up and it looked cool. But if they've gone through to the cart page and now you're sending them abandoned cart emails, these are much more specific. These have a much higher intent because they showed interest in that product. All right. So there's four different main things that we just talked about, and I'm going to sum it up. There's on-site conversions, which is the steps that you take, the design elements and the things that you do, the apps that you use across your product page, your cart page, your checkout page to create a path of least resistance and higher probability of purchasing. Okay, there's your 2 email series. There's a welcome series for people that just like opt in to somewhere on your site for some sort of maybe it's a discount that you're offering them. Hey, don't leave yet, opt in here and get 10% off or something. And then there's the abandoned cart series for people that actually make it to the cart page but then abandon. And then finally, the fourth thing is our retargeting or remarketing, where we're going to be able to show them ads as they leave the site to bring them back and try to get them to make a purchase. So let's start by talking about your abandoned carts. Okay, around 75% of all online shoppers abandon their cart before completing a purchase. All right, and that's an important stat to know, because there's not much you can do to, there are things you can do, right? Don't get me wrong. There are things that you can do to make that better, but at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to avoid abandoned carts. Like, this is just a part of e-commerce, so that's where we want to have a good abandoned cart strategy in place. The reasons that people leave their cart, top 3 reasons are, 1, a lot of people are just browsing, right? Window shopping, and they'll add to cart to see what the next page is. Are there any hidden prices? Are there any hidden discounts? Or, what are shipping and taxes and that kind of thing. So a lot of people might just be browsing, but they're not really ready to purchase. They're window shopping. They want to see what the final price would be, or what the shipping cost would be, that kind of thing. 2 is, of course, the shipping prices and shipping policy. A lot of people will then get upset. Well, I shouldn't say upset, but a lot of people get turned off by shipping, right? Because they like to see free shipping. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't still have a successful store that charges shipping. That's not true at all. But free shipping is generally what people like to see. And then comparing prices between stores. All right, this is like the Amazon test, the Google test, right? Where somebody might see a product that they like, that you showed them from your store. They saw an ad on Facebook. They weren't expecting it, right? They were just on Facebook. You showed them an ad, something that looked really cool. They visit your store and see your price, and they go through the process to see what the final price is going to be. And now they open up another tab and they start checking out Amazon or Google to see who else is selling this item and can they get it cheaper. This is definitely something that we have to be aware of, and something that we have to try to combat in our marketing to win that sale when we can. In all of these situations, a person is interested, right? And if you have their email address, that's where we send them a series of emails to try to convince them to complete their purchase. Now, this is automatic, okay? there are third-party apps that do this for you. All you have to do is write the emails and set the time, schedule, and conditions for which that email goes out. But the whole goal of these emails is to bring people back to make a purchase. Here are the two I recommend. Klaviyo on the right is a full email platform, okay, and it's the best for Shopify and e-commerce. All right, it's built specifically for Shopify and e-commerce, and we actually have a mini email marketing series later in this course. But generally, any email e-commerce expert that you talk to, any of the big stores or most of the big stores that you're going to see out there are using Klaviyo. All right, it's just better. But as an option to just get started for cheap, if you just want to cover your abandoned carts, because Klaviyo can be a little bit more expensive, the Abandonment Protector is a fantastic app. All right, it's designed specifically to create these emails, and it has the workflows all built in. It has a 30-day free trial, and then it's only $8 a month after that. So it's a good alternative to getting started if like you're on a budget, or you're not quite ready to go the whole Klaviyo route. But for sure, Klaviyo is the best option. Now, timing is important with abandoned cart emails, all right? And I'm not going to say that my method here is the best method by any means, but it is a method that works and has been proven to work. And I've taken some tips and things that I've learned from other people along the way that can really help as well. So generally, first of all, you want to send at least 3 emails. Some people send more, okay, but you want to send at least 3 emails, and the first email is within 1 hour to try to still capture that impulse, because sometimes people might abandon carts simply because something came up, right? Like I might be shopping online and I'm here, and then all of a sudden I get a phone call, or I forgot I had to do something, and and then I get an email an hour later and I completely forgot, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay. And if the email is written well, you might still be able to capture them in that impulse. 12 hours later is the second one, and then 24 hours later. So we spread them out then to still try and keep it like you're keeping it all within a day, because generally you want to capitalize on the moment of when they're interested and not get to the point where they forget who you are or forget your store. Because remember, you can always serve them retargeting ads in the future longer than 1 day out. But these emails are really trying to hit them very specifically to get them to click and come back to purchase. Subject lines are going to be the most important part of that email, because the thing with abandoned cart emails is most of them are going to end up like, for example, with Gmail. Gmail is generally one of the most used email platforms out there, and it has the separate tabs, right? It has the promotions tab, which is where a lot of abandoned cart emails will land, because Gmail knows it's a promotion from a store. So those types of tabs make it difficult because it segments the email. So you need to have really good subject lines to catch people's attention and get them to want to open it. Make sure you don't overdo it with your headline, because you don't want to end up in spam by using words like free and discount. Now, it doesn't mean you can't use those words ever, but I'm just saying that those words have a higher rate of being flagged for spam by Google. Persuasive text and call to action, okay? Once you get them to open the email by having a good subject line, right? The important thing to remember with email is that your email is in 2 parts, okay? There's the subject line that gets them to open the email. It doesn't matter how good an email you write if your subject line does not get them to actually click that email and open it. And then once they do open it, now it's time to write something persuasive with a good call to action that gets them to click the link with the intent of going back and making a purchase, right? So keep it short, keep it to the point, keep it punchy, and also be persuasive. You're still trying to close a sale, right? You want to handle objections. You want to talk about benefits. You want to offer different things, free shipping, discounts, and have some sort of call to action in there. Now, I'm going to show you an example, but you don't want to overdo it on like images and stuff. And there's differing opinions about this, right? Because you'll see a lot of big brand emails, they use images, and people will talk about, well, you do that for branding because it's the overall appearance. But that works for big brands because big brands are already big brands with a loyal following, right? They already have that loyalty that somebody may be looking for their email. Somebody's going to recognize and care more about an email from Nike than they are from Joe's Shoes that they never heard of, right? So with our emails, the most important thing is trying to land in the inbox. And one of the best ways to land in the inbox is, number one, not a spam headline. Number two, not using a lot of images and like design elements inside the email, but just using basically straight text, except for your CTA button. Okay, so here's an example of one that would go out like right away after an hour. Thanks you were in the process of purchasing, but you need to update your shipping info to complete your order. Click to finish. Keep in mind we're very low in stock, and your cart will expire in 24 hours. So hurry up before we're out of stock on this amazing deal. Remember, only 24 hours until we have to give this order to someone else, so hurry now to complete it. Okay, so you see a few things here that they're doing. Number one, in the first sentence, they're reminding them that they were in the process of purchasing. Right? Like sticking that reminder back to them so that the person is back in the mindset of making a purchase. Like that's what you were doing. You were about to purchase this item. Okay. And then they're making it seem like, okay, they're using, it's a good little psychology here because they're saying you were in the process of purchasing, but you need to update your shipping info. Like almost making it seem like, hey, you forgot to do this. Right, like you were just there. You were so close. Like all you need is one more step. You just have to come back and tell us where to ship this item. Right? It's a good way to start the email. It's very straight to the point and gets them back into the buying mode and lets them know it's just like a short, simple step to complete the purchase. And then going through keep in mind they're putting urgency into this. They're putting urgency and they're putting a fear of missing out. They're saying we're low in stock, so you could miss out on this deal. And urgency, this is going to expire in 24 hours and we'll have to give it to someone else. So these are some good elements that they're including. I don't think that they needed 2 buttons in their email, but that's fine. And you see not a lot of images. Now, what this is here in the middle, if you're unfamiliar with abandoned cart emails, this is dynamic. So this is built into most email platforms. It's definitely built into the 2 that I recommended, where it's dynamically going to update whatever product they were looking at, show the picture of it here, and it'll bring in the title, what their quantity was, what the price is, and what the actual total is. Okay, so it brings all that cart information dynamically in from their exact purchase, and if they click this button, then it takes them right back to the cart, and then all they have to do is complete the purchase. Things you can mention as persuasive elements to get people to buy. Free shipping is one that's great. This is why I actually like having shipping charged on the website, because you can use that as your first line of trying to get them to come back and buy. Like, to me, it makes sense to try to get them to pay for shipping first. And then if they don't want to pay for shipping, then I come back and say, okay, well, you can get free shipping, right? And so free shipping is a great thing you can offer. Discount, as we just saw, limited stock, limited sale time, cart expires soon. These are all urgency elements. Money back guarantee, satisfaction guarantee, easy returns, customer support. These are like risk reversal elements, handling objections in a way, reminding them that there's a money back guarantee, reminding them that there's a satisfaction guarantee, and if they don't like it, they can return it easily, and we're here to support you. These are to help make them more confident in going through with the purchase. Tip, keep your emails simple, all right? They have basic built-in templates, and like we said, though, you want to keep it as simple as possible. Keep the amount of images you use limited the amount of HTML in your email, limited, sparse, sparse is just a way for saying limited, but basically the more text-based your email is, the higher chance it has of landing in the inbox, which means the higher chance it has of getting open, which means the higher chance you have of getting a click in a customer. Now, moving into retargeting of maximizing your off-site, maximizing conversions off-site, right? And this is basic stuff here, okay? Retargeting is covered in depth in the actual marketing sections for which it applies, right? So Facebook retargeting and Google remarketing, those are covered within the Facebook and Google sections. Here, I just want to make sure that you understand what it is. Okay, this is a course designed to bring anybody at any level all the way through. So if you already know what it is, that's fantastic. But I want to make sure that nobody is left behind. So the retargeting cycle works like this, right? Somebody comes and they visit, and like I said, there will be a pixel that captures them when they're on their site. There's a pixel or a tracking code that captures them, and that data is then shared back to the platform. Right, so then that means later when they're back on Facebook or back on the web, you're able to show them new ads that are persuasive ads to try to bring them back and turn them into a customer. All right, so I'm just mentioning it briefly here as the retargeting, because there's two ways that you can do this. One is on Facebook and one is on Google, which I basically said. Now, I mean, there's other ways as well, but those are the only two that we're really going to cover at this point. So on Facebook, you have the Facebook pixel, okay? And so you put a Facebook pixel on your website. Anybody that visits your website, now when they leave, you can show them new ads on Facebook next time they log on and show them all the same stuff, right? Free shipping, discount. It's all the same persuasive elements here that you're going to show them. But instead of trying to put it in an email, obviously, this is an email, you're going to craft that in the form of an ad with some sort of video or some sort of image, and then you're going to show them, you'll have a series of retargeting ads that will go out to try to bring them back to your store to convince them to purchase, okay? You can have as many retargeting ads as you want. You can have as many different angles and persuasive elements as you want to use. With Google does the same thing. With Google, it's called remarketing, and you can remarket them on several ways. Number one, there's the Google actual search platform, right? There's YouTube, and then there's the Google display partners, all right, which allows you, sites that Google owns and distributes its own actual stuff, okay? So ads on different networks, I mean. So you have these different ways that using Google now, when somebody goes and there's an analytics code there, analytic tracking code, now you can capture that audience and again show them ads in different areas, as many different ads as you want, using these same type of elements. Now it might be a little bit different format, right? But there's also cross-pollination here as well. If you're running your main traffic from Google to your site, you can then retarget that traffic on Facebook, okay, which is what some people do very well. They'll look for items that have a search volume. They'll run Google shopping ads to bring traffic in, and then once they have that traffic in, now they start serving them retargeting ads on Facebook with these types of persuasive elements. Okay, and another way could be in reverse, right? You could be getting traffic from Facebook. You're still going to retarget Facebook with Facebook always, but you could also retarget those people on Google and YouTube as well. But we're gonna talk about retargeting more in depth. Like I said, it doesn't make sense to go through it here because retargeting is specific to the platform that you're using. Right, so that's why when we get down later to the channels of Facebook and Google, that's where we'll talk about the specific retargeting elements. Email welcome series, next point. Okay, this is again offsite conversion based on once somebody has opted into an email. Here are some examples of what I think are some good ones. Now, again, these are emails that are right, they have a lot of images in it, okay? They're from brands, but I still think that that aside, that piece aside, I think that they've done some good things, okay? Like this one is all about like being invited into a club, right? Hey, Bianca, welcome, you're in. We're all about making it easy for you to shop online. And then they say a bit about us, okay? That's good because this is the kind of stuff you want to introduce. The point of a welcome series is to introduce your brand, nurture a relationship, and give some sort of value, some sort of reason they should come back and shop, which is what they do here really well. They say, hey, you're in, a bit about us, we're the big brands that we carry. We have best shipping and return policy, all this great customer support. And here's a discount code for you as well to take $20 off your cart for your first item. Okay. And then this is the email continued, right? And so you can see down here as well, they reiterated again, free express delivery, free 100-day returns, which is amazing. That's a huge value add. And then award-winning customer service. Here's a very simple example. Again, being the image aside, I just want to point out some of the good things that they do, okay? Emails, introduce, be friendly, have a personality, give a discount code. Okay, and you don't have to stop with just one email on just that welcome email. You can create like a series of 3 emails or 5 emails or 7 emails where you are continuing to try to build a relationship, try to add value and try to keep giving them discounts and like reminding them, hey, you have a discount you can use. Hey, here's one of our most popular items and here's a 10% discount to go get it now, or here's free shipping to get it now. And again, just an example here, right? Get started, use the code at checkout to get 20% off your first order with a link to shop now. And so we'll have more on this in the email marketing section. Again, right now I'm just kind of doing a quick overview of the idea of a welcome series, and later there is an email marketing section that will go much more in depth. It's a guest email marketing. It's not me covering it. I'm bringing in an expert who works with 6- and 7-figure brands to build their email marketing and help them. Email marketing can help you make so much money on your store. And so it's a really important thing. And that's why we're dedicating an entire module to having an email marketing mini course in here later. Now, we talk about on-site conversions, right? That was all the off-site stuff with abandoned carts, your welcome series, and your retargeting. Now we want to look at on-site conversions and things you can be doing that facilitate that journey of least resistance to make somebody go through and make a purchase. Here's why conversion rate matters so much, just to put it in perspective, okay? Your conversion rate can be the difference of you saying this business is too hard, I'm not making any money, I'm done, to actually being profitable, right? With the same amount of visitors, the same exact average order value, a 1% conversion rate difference in this example equals an additional $2,000, right? And the more visitors you're getting, the more that's going to compound. So the better your conversion rate, obviously, the more money you're going to make. But sometimes people don't focus on these things enough, when the reality is this is one of the most important things on your store, is trying to increase the conversion rate. Okay. Now, at a concept level, let's talk about conversion probability, right? What increases or decreases the probability of somebody converting, which in this case, the conversion event that we're talking about ultimately is a purchase, right? So what is either increasing or decreasing the chances of somebody making a purchase on your store? Factors, okay? And again, this stuff is a little bit of a concept right now, but it's important to understand. Okay, some of it's outside of your control. One would be the motivation of the customer. That's generally outside of your control, but that matters, right? And it's something to consider, because there are things within the conversion probability that you can't control, like whether that customer's having a bad day, or whether they're in a busy environment, or whether they're just a window shopper. Okay, but the rest of these things you can control to try to increase the motivation of the customer to want to make a purchase. Okay, no matter what mental state they're at when they're actually visiting your store. The force of the value proposition. This is why we talked about value proposition exclusively in its own lesson, is because how good your value proposition is going to make a big difference in if a person wants to make a purchase, right? And that's not just the value proposition of your offer, it's the value proposition of your brand as well, okay? So both of those things need to be present and understood. The incentive to take action, okay? What kind of offer are you giving them? Is this just like, and this is why people like to use the countdown timers. And honestly, it's why countdown timers can work. The challenge with that is if you overdo it, it tends to look like a scam. People are starting to get hip to that idea of the countdown timer because there's so many stores out there copying and duplicating the exact same thing. But that's the idea of creating incentive, right? Like, hey, there's only a certain amount left, or there's only a certain amount of time until this deal is up. That's why you see those, your cart is reserved for 20 minutes, like when you go to the cart page. Those types of things are meant to help increase the incentive to want to take action, or having a discount code when somebody gets to the cart page, right? It helps increase the incentive. Friction elements present. This is important because one mistake I see a lot of stores do, and I personally think this is a mistake, some people might disagree, but it's a friction element. When you visit a store and the first thing you see is a pop-up, okay? Like you haven't even had a chance to read the product page and all of a sudden, boom, in your face is some sort of pop-up. That's a friction element, right? Because the path of least resistance to somebody making a purchase would then be to visit your page, scroll down, read through the product description, decide they like it, hit add to cart, go to the cart, go to the checkout, right? If you're serving them with a pop-up in there, that's creating a pause, that's creating friction. And that's just one example. That's why I like the exit intent pop-up, which means only when they actually go to exit the page will there be a pop-up because they're already leaving the page, or a pop-up that's timed like 3 minutes in, so that way you're only showing a pop-up to somebody who's really interested and they're still on your site, and then maybe that extra discount that you offer them with a pop-up is actually going to help become a incentive to take action, right? Anxiety elements present. This is like lack of trust, okay? So can they see, does your site have easily identifiable return policy, shipping policy? Does it have a phone number? Does it have an address? And these different types of things. Does it have trust badges? Does it have reviews? These are all anxiety elements if you don't have them. Okay, if you have none of them, then obviously somebody's going to have a lot of anxiety in trying to make a purchase from you. The more that you have, I think the less that the anxiety is going to go down. Doesn't mean you have to have all of them, but it's certainly, they're all great things to have. I don't think any one of them hurts to have. And I know for a fact 100% that having an 800 number on your site is definitely going to help increase conversions. Having an address, that's also going to help increase conversions because it gives a much more established, professional, real business feel, okay? On poorly converting product pages, the perceived cost exceeds the perceived value, all right? We've talked about value a lot. This is a good concept to understand. If somebody is interested in a product, now, for the market of buyers, right? Because there's an important principle in sales that in any group of people, there's going to be at least some percentage of that group that would never buy no matter what, right? There might be 15% of people that would just never buy no matter what, no matter how great you make it. Even if you make it 80% off, they wouldn't buy. So we're not talking about those people, but of the people that are buyers that can be converted, okay? If they are visiting your page and they decide not to go through with the purchase, then essentially the problem here at a concept level is that the perceived cost, what you are asking for them in money or commitment, is higher than what they feel like they're going to receive in value. Okay? And so our job as marketers is to reverse that. We have to make them feel that they are going to get higher in value, more in value, in use value, in quality, in service. They're going to get more in value than we are asking for in cost, okay? And when you create that balance, that's when you start to tip the scales into conversions. So here's a few tips. All right, I think I've already given several tips, but easily accessible communication, right? Having some sort of place that they can chat, having a phone number present, having a way that they can contact you. Now, it's important to note on the phone number piece that that doesn't mean that you have to be answering phones. Of course, you could if you wanted to. If it's something very personal to you that you're selling and you love it, you could have a Google Voice number that runs right into your number. Or a call forwarding, 800 call forwarding number. You can hire a VA to answer phones or a part-time employee to answer phones. Or in the beginning, as you're getting started, you can just connect your 800 number to a voicemail. Mostly people just want to see that there's a phone number there because it lets them feel like if they have a problem, they can call somebody. And they're not going to want to call, believe me, we're all consumers, right? Nobody wants to call somebody. Well, very few people, right? Especially in today's modern world of chats and Messenger, nobody really wants to call somebody unless they have to. I would never actually dial a number, go through the process of waiting and the automated prompts and talking to somebody unless I absolutely had to. If I can solve it with a chat, that's the best. If I can solve it through email, that's second best, right? So easily accessible communication. High quality product images, that should be obvious. We've already talked about that. Clear call to action button. We've talked about that as well. I was just talking with somebody the other day, a student that was designing their page, and they decided to create a call to action button. Their add to cart button was, it wasn't a solid color. It was like the square outline style button with the letters in the middle on a white background. And I was like, no, this is too subtle. You want a bold, standout call to action button because that's where they're supposed to click. Okay? Don't be subtle about it. Don't be shy about it. Be firm. Be bold. Get something out there that contrasts and is going to draw attention. Testimonials and reviews. We talked about that. That should be obvious. Strong and visible guarantees. Benefit-driven product descriptions, we talked about that, and Google Analytics to monitor visitor behavior. That can help you increase conversions because when you see the behavior of people on your store, you can find where there's problems and where people are having trouble, and that can help you diagnose what's wrong and how to increase those conversions. All right, and there's additional training on that later. I'm going to get some sort of Google Analytics module added in here from a friend of mine that's a Google Analytics consulting expert. So here's just some examples, right, of easily accessible communication. You can see here they have a pop-up for live chat or text, which is great. Being able to text is also awesome. And they also have an FAQ center doing a really good job of that there. Here's one here where they have a messenger pop-up. This is really easy. This is a free app that you can install. So it just pops up with Messenger. So if somebody has a question, they can just chat now right through their Facebook profile. High quality product images. As you can see here, this is really, really bold, bright, pops. It's a great product image, okay? This is print on demand. So another further tip that you should consider when you're looking at print on demand is using actual mock-ups, okay? Like people wearing the item in different lifestyle poses or, full background images, that kind of thing. Here's an example of one that's not print on demand. Really, really quality, high resolution, up close product image, okay? And that's the kind of product image that you want. Something very clear, nice, high resolution. Clear call to action button, as we already looked at earlier with, we looked at this earlier with sugar and cotton, so it's not the first time I've mentioned this, but again, just a really great example here of an all white background and having a bold red call to action button. Now, it's important to note that all of these that I'm using as an example, I think are good examples. But this one, like I think that this is a great example of a product image as well. And this is actually straight off of AliExpress where they got this product, but it's a good image, right? It's got a really bold, clear, high resolution picture here that pops and draws your attention. But then this add to cart button still pops as well, and that's what you want. Testimonials and reviews. Here's an example of, there's different review apps and testimony apps, and I mentioned those in the Shopify apps section above, or not above, but the module before this. So this is what that would look like, where you can have people that are giving you real reviews, and this does so much for the credibility, the social proof overall. Strong and visible guarantees. Okay, so this is great because you can see free shipping to Canada, carrier calculated like so. These things here as well that are giving you guarantees on the product. Right now, not only is the product image great because you can actually even see the guarantees right on the packaging, but then they have them here as well underneath the add to cart button, where it tells you USDA, non-GMO, kosher check. So these things are like letting you know the important guarantees that somebody who's a shopper of this type of food would be interested in. And it's also, you can see here the different images they have, right? They show in the package, they show what it looks like poured, and then they show the nutrition facts, okay? So you can see the guarantees, you can get everything you need to fully understand this product, what it is, and what's behind it. Here's another example of this one, this natural deodorant products for sensitive skin. These are all guarantees down here, right? Natural and organic, cruelty-free, no harsh chemicals, and you can see all these ones. So great stuff. Like it really adds so much. It's such a great element, a trust element to add to this type of product. But there's also the idea of trust badges, okay? In terms of here's a little bit different. Right, like this has nothing to do with the ingredients, is what I mean. These are trust badges just based on the standing behind your service, right? So free shipping, U.S. and Canada, produced in the USA, and love it or your money back, right? That's great. And then they have this guarantee here, the iconic promise: we guarantee you'll love our product or we'll refund your money, 100% money back guarantee. Really, really powerful guarantee, very visible. And again, still pointing out the other elements, you can see that they have social proof here. They have a very distinguishable add to cart button, and they have great product images that are clear and easy to read. And they also have the messenger, easy communication, right? And then finally, the last form of guarantee, we call this a guaranteed safe checkout trust badge. And you can literally type that into Google and search Google Images, and you'll see many of them available, is here, right? It just says guaranteed safe checkout, and then it offers like all the different payment forms that are accepted, has this McAfee secure symbol, has this 100% satisfaction guarantee symbol. So again, they're all a little bit different. I'm not, no one is better than the other, but they fit the brands differently based on what you're selling, what type of product you have, what type of guarantee you want to create. But no matter what, you definitely want to have some type of guarantee or trust badge there in that area under the add to cart button, because it really helps to increase conversions. Benefit-driven product description, okay? So this is one for a product called the Slide, and you can see here, I just zoomed in on their actual product description. Look at how well this is written. First of all, this tagline, the ultimate fun board. Okay, that's 100% benefit driven because they're making it all about the fun you're going to have, right? Ultimate fun board, excellent starter shred stick that will turn your body surfing session into the time of your life. That is such a good sentence, right? That's so well written because it's 100% getting you in the mindset of what you're going to be using this for and what it's going to feel like, okay? Then they talk about what it's made made from. But again, look, it's not just a feature. It doesn't just say EPS foam core and extra sticky top skin. It takes it a step further to say that will have you racing down any wave like a pro, no matter your skill level. Again, extremely benefit driven, and they continue to do that down here where they name the most fun you'll have in the water. That's a benefit driven title, and then they explain it. Easy to use, fun to master. So this is a really great example, if you read through that, of how to write a benefit-driven product description. Make it fun, make it entertaining, make it about the customer and how it's going to, what's the outcome of owning this? How's it going to improve their life? Same thing here with the Inspire Uplift product. This is a little bit more toned down, but still really good, right? This is the name of the product, Mountain River Handicraft Incense Holder. Okay, and then they talk about how it's been carefully handcrafted. This lovely ceramic incense burner is ideal for burning your favorite incenses while providing a relaxing and decorative touch to any space. So that's really good, right? Because it talks about burning your favorite incenses, right? Getting you in that mindset of already owning it and then relaxing in the space that you enjoy. Great gift for meditation and yoga lovers. And then it even goes on to tell you a little bit more about incense burning and what it's for, that it decreases stress, have the power to cleanse negative energy, ease tension, elevate your meditative state, right? So they know who they're targeting and who their market is for this, and they're writing clearly beneficial descriptions that are meant to appeal to that market. And that's what you want to think about with your products as well. Address the things your visitors are thinking, okay? Depending on the complexity of your product, you want to be able to address what they might be thinking about trying to look at this. So with this slide belts, they address some of this stuff here in this easy to look at diagram. Internal webbing that provides a certain amount of strength, and frost flex, waterproof, abrasion resistant, easy to clean, right? Like they're already thinking about what the person might be considering, what kind of objections they might have, or what might be the important factors they're looking for in this type of high performance belt. Okay, so if you have that type of product, you want to be able to address those types of things automatically. Now, understanding your audience, Google Analytics is a powerful way to help understand your audience. And again, there's going to be some Google Analytics training in the future, but why Google Analytics is so powerful is because it tracks everything that happens. So you can see where people visited, what pages they bounced off, where they fell off in their journey. And so Google Analytics is definitely something you want to have your analytics code installed on your store so that you can understand the behavior of your customers, and it can help not only to see where you're doing wrong or you can improve, but it can help seeing what you're doing right and where you can focus on understanding what's working and what's not working. Okay, so there will be some Google Analytics training later in the Academy. This is called a heat map. All right, and you can see here, it's called the app that you can do this with that I recommend is Lucky Orange. And heat maps are interesting because they will track your visitors in a different way than Google Analytics, where they're actually tracking the activity on your page, and then you can watch it back in real time. You can see where were people clicking, and where were the hot, sensitive, or not sensitive, but where were the hot button points, right? Like anywhere in this red area, this is where people were moving around with their mouse, basically. This is where they were clicking. This is where they were clicking. This is where they were clicking, right? The fact that, the fact that this actually breaks it down into color codes so that you can see where people were clicking and where they weren't is really powerful, because maybe your website is confusing. For example, if your colors for your add to cart button are off and you don't have a red area around your add to cart button, but you have a red area around something else, then that can let you know, hey, like people are confused here about where to click to do something, okay? Or you can see as they scroll through, like where their journey stops, where did they get confused at. So this is a great way to help understand your audience, which can lead to direct insights to increase conversions. Exit intent discount code. I already talked about this. This is an on-site thing because it can help capture people as they leave. So here's an example of a good one. Wait, do you want a 10% discount on your first order? This actually gives them the discount without even needing to opt in, which is a good idea. So they get the discount code right here, and then all they have to do is return the site, and it can bring them right back into the shopping experience. So the term for this is conversion rate optimization, ongoing process, and one of the main things that's going to help you build a profitable e-commerce business. I know this has been a longer video, but it's really, really important stuff, because conversion rate optimization, or your CRO, is probably it's one of the top 3 metrics that you need to be looking at in your store every single day, every single week, right? It's right up there with average order value and lifetime value. I mean, this is everything. How you're converting people on your store determines the overall success of how you are making money. In fact, to end with a short story that I know, there's a story about when Facebook and MySpace were actually competitors at one time. If this is before your time, I'm sure you know Facebook. Maybe you don't know MySpace, but MySpace actually came out before Facebook. And when Facebook came out, they were in direct competition for users. And as the story goes, Facebook brought in a conversion rate agency that specialized in helping companies maximize their conversion rate. Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, understood the importance of optimizing for conversions to gain users, right? He knew that it wasn't just about branding. It wasn't just about your marketing. It was about on-site optimization of your conversions, okay? And they brought in an agency to work with them, and as the story goes, right, the rest is history. MySpace fell off very quickly, and Facebook blew up to become over 2 billion users and a multi-billion-dollar company, right? So the conversion rate optimization is that important. I hope you got a lot of value out of this. Remember, it's an ongoing process, okay? This is by no means the most exhaustive look at conversion rates, because as you get to different levels, then there's different things you need to be looking at, different things that are going to be specific to your niche or your audience or your product or your offer or the platform that you're using to market. So this is just meant to give you like some of the really strong foundational stuff that you need to be thinking about to help set you up for success moving forward from here. All right. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video where we kind of bring this all together and look at a launch strategy for going to market.